Well, hello. I'd like to take a deep dive into dominant seventh sounds, and especially focusing on alto dominance, which seems to be the big mystery of all the sounds. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a C7, and I'm just going to do a shell voicing of it. So just the root, third, and flat 7. Okay, and then I'm also going to invert the thing and put the C on the top. So we're going to just work from this. So 3, flat 7, 1, right? And on top of this, typically what we would use, okay, this is a 5/7 of the key of F. And so what I would do is I would use what we call the Mixolydian mode, which would be basically playing an F scale starting from its fifth C. So it would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. Right? And then that is what's called, like I said, the Mixolydian mode. So it's just an F scale from C to C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. Right? And we can get some cool stuff out of that. So what we should do is probably do a resolve. Let's resolve it. Right? So that's it. You want to hear that tension release, right? Now let's get into the alto doms. Okay, and see what happens there. Because all the alto dominant seventh sounds are basically geared to just give us a little more excitement, a little more tension before we get rid of that release. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to take that shell voicing and I'm going to superimpose on top of it a triad of G flat. And I'm going to do it in a second inversion. So it's going to be this. So that's D flat, G flat, and B flat got stuck on top of this shell voicing. Right? That gives me my flat 9, which is in relation to C. It gives me a flatted fifth in relation to C. And then it gives me my flat 7 again, which we already actually had covered right there. And then let's do another triad on top of... another one that we can superimpose on will be the A flat in second inversion. All right, cool little sound. So we had E flat, A flat, and C. Now the E flat, let's think of it more as like D sharp, because that's what it is. It's really going to be functioning as a sharp 9. And this is going to be a sharp 5. So it's not really a flat 13 as much as it's a sharp 5. Okay? And then that was just the root. So between those two, we pretty much have created what's called the alto dominant seventh scale, which would have been had then this. E's fine because it was in the Mixolydian mode. And then from here, we're covering G flat, A flat, B flat, and C, right? So that puts the whole thing together, but between those two triad pairs stacked on top of the Mixolydian mode, right? And so we get this. Now, the 1 chord doesn't always have to be of the major quality. It could be other things. So maybe I'll do it going to the to the 1 minor 7. Okay, so let's say I had this. Maybe it's a dominant 7th chord, so let's try it that way. So, yeah, so that works fine. In fact, you can almost see that you could actually probably start doing a going around a circle of fifths and alternating between altered DOMs and regular DOMs. It would be a nice little treat. And another one that I like actually also is doing the suspended altered dominant 7th. Right? Isn't that an interesting one? So if I did this. That sounds really cool. If I do it, let's see, let's throw on this. This is a piano and orchestra patch in here. It's really fun. So we'll try this. All right. Well, anyways, it gives you a good idea of the altered dominant 7ths. So have fun with it. And I hope that helped you out as to how to create some of these altered dominant 7th sounds. And you can run in between the altered and the mixolydian. So it's kind of cool to actually, bring some of both worlds. You don't have to go totally over the top on the altered if you just include a couple of little portions here and there. And I think actually if you are looking at this, what kind of a structure am I using? Am I using the sharp 5, sharp 9s, or am I using the flat 9s and flat 5s? It gives it a little slightly different, darker sound, right? It's like this is a little different, right, than this. Right? So, but yeah, I mean, that's what you got. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Ring the bell if you want to see more. Subscribe. And that will really help. So, thanks a lot. Thank you ever so much. Have a great holiday.